Sup, it's Mystery. I like Impulse, and I know the question you were all asking, is this game dead? But before we get into that, allow me to recap the first 2 weeks of Impulse after its launch, not only to catch up any players who may have missed something, but also to set the record straight for any potential new players wondering how the game is doing. And I'll also be talking about what there is to look forward to in the coming days as new updates are on the horizon. Now let's begin. The timeline starts with June 24th, the launch of Impulse. Now there was a demo for the Steam Next Fest the week leading up to the launch, but most of the content between the demo and the early access are pretty similar. So for the sake of the video, I will focus on the launch itself, which has the camo grinds, all of the challenges, an early access battle pass, HDDs, which are like loot boxes, that are all free, by the way. You pay your $15 since the game was $5 off. It's meant to be $20, but due to the launch, they discounted it $5. So yeah, you pay your $15, you get all of the content, you don't have to pay extra for loot boxes or anything else that usually would cost microtransactions. All was well and good, even launched with rank as well. But there were some issues even at this launch, even after the demo, and that's where June 26th comes in, the patch 1.0, which added new content as well as fixed very important bugs that made the game more playable for the weeks to come. Patch 1.0 notably saw the addition of Drainage, one of the best maps in Impulse. It's in the little sewer half pipes. Very great map. Love that one a lot. They also added a new mode, Mech Bounty, which is kind of like VIP, where someone randomly is the VIP, but they're in the mech. So the mech's worth 5 points, individual player kills are worth 1 point, so adds a little bit of extra strategy, makes it a little bit different than extra modes, but in my opinion, it wasn't as much of a banger as Drainage was, still a good addition nonetheless. And finally, a new weapon was added, the Requiem, which is pretty much made for sniper mains. It is a just straight on, super slow, high reward sniper. You hit your headshot, it's a one-shot kill. Otherwise, it's a two-shot. It's a very difficult weapon that I have a lot of feelings about. Not my favorite, but a lot of players that are really good with it prove that it was a good addition. This is a weapon that's on par with the top half, I think, that are not only viable, but just fun to use and feel decent in the balance. So yeah, Requiem, W addition to the update. A few things they did to the balance was changing movement a little bit. They made the wall run and grapples a little bit faster. People didn't really like it on launch and in the demo, so their reaction to that was to buff those, but they also nerfed the hammer, which was super overpowered in the demo. So many people were complaining about it. Almost every demo Impulse video you'll see will mention something about the hammer, whether good or bad. It was very, very in your face with how successful some players were with it. And it makes me sad now because the hammer is very difficult to use, as you'll see in this background footage. And also speed paint was another controversial one. They nerfed it, and later on, in a later update in this video, they kind of quietly buffed it back to the middle point because they over nerfed it, and people got even more mad than the initial people that were mad that it was too fast. You can kind of see a pattern here. They're going through with their word of responding to player feedback. The players don't like something, they nerf it, they tweak it until everybody is happy with it and shuts up about it, frankly. Then you have your usual bug fixes and crash fixes. They also tweaked control spawns, and Intel and Upload had some fixes as well. And there was a little bit of mech balancing too, so everything was kind of optimized for ranked. I believe, because Control, Intel, and Upload are all the main modes you will see in ranked. So yeah, they probably wanted to make sure that the mode was ready to ship in those early stages of the game's life. So the ranked is pretty much the long-lasting time sink you can have in the game, because the camos are pretty grindy, but Ranked is even more so and is actually quite difficult. If you guys would like to see a whole video breaking down the rank system, let me know and I'll try my best to do so. I've been putting a lot of hours into it, and I think I've finally cracked how they've handled it, and it is a little different than other games. It's kind of interesting. We can finally move on from patch 1. I know that was a lot. They did a lot on the day 1 patch. It's pretty much day 1 patch, a couple days after. But a couple days after that, they added another mode, Mech v Mech. And this is a limited time mode. By the time you see this video, it's probably gone, but it's what you think. It's a 4v4 mech only mode. The first to 30 kills wins. It was kind of interesting. A lot of people didn't like it, and a lot of people really liked it. So it was kind of just up to if you were a mech player or not for how successful it was for you. But yeah, not too much else to say about that one. It's kind of on its way out now, but it was a nice little experiment. And now, July 1st, we're finally at where I got to play the game, the PS5 launch. It took them a week to get the PlayStation 5 certification for the store so they could launch the game on PS5. This was something that was more so on Sony's end, because Sony has to certify your game before it's able to be sold. And the devs said they put it in the same time as Xbox, and the delay was just something that naturally happened. Could they have maybe planned this out a little better and got it in sooner? Maybe. But I think the point still stands that it released on Xbox just fine. Sony just didn't allow the game for whatever reason, and it took a week for them to properly get the launch ready. And that was mostly on Sony, I have to admit, but as a PS5 player, I was very upset. But thankfully, this launch was fantastic. There was very little bugs. We got to play the game the same as anyone else. Crossplay worked great. Cross progression was there for us on launch. Twitch drops, the Discord drops, all of it worked just fine. Right, was able to hop into rank, get all the loot boxes, do any of the challenges anyone else does, and the serial limited time skins, they are limited to 10,000 players. The PS5 players still had plenty of time, as the numbers were at 2,000 at that time, but now they're probably around 3,000. So even now, you have time to grab these limited time skins. And speaking of the now, let's go ahead and move on to the present and what is about to happen in the game and what will maybe, hopefully happen later on. So the big thing that's going to come out is the Sprint Phase 2. If you don't know, the Sprint unlocks one serial skin for the Resonance. It's got the cool animated skulls on it. You have to do a list of pretty grindy challenges, but once you're all done, you get the skin. And now, after so many days have passed, I predict it will release July 8th. Don't quote me on that. That's what the date should be unless something changes. So July 8th, we get a new skin and get to do Phase 2, where we do it all over again. Complete your challenges, get a skin, get the cereal. There is also a teaser for a new event, a no movement event. And this was done through a very cheeky movement, a lot of feedback, and we're removing it. They were kind of being meta. It was obviously a joke because the whole point of the game is movement, but they were joking about removing it. We all assume this is for a limited time event. So they are working on something new, and they are most definitely working on tons of changes. We just don't know when they're going to be added, because there was a whole Twitch stream that the CEO did, the Go Ian of 1047. And yeah, that stream was really funny. It was very relaxed. He was just playing the game and answering questions as he played. And yeah, if you guys want to see a full breakdown of that stream, let me know and I'll do it just like I did this video. With that, hopefully you're all up to date with the events of Impulse and its first 2 weeks of launch. And now, I promised to answer your dying question, will this game die? Well, I'm not one to listen to Steam player numbers, and you gotta remember there's PS5 players and Xbox players. And in my experience, this game is still very well alive 2 weeks later, so there is hope that as long as consistent updates are added, that the current state of the game should stay the same for quite some time. And the queue times are pretty quick. In quick play, if you have all modes selected, the queues are near instant, maybe a minute at the most, with crossplay on. Taking crossplay off adds a few minutes, but that's to be expected, right? And ranked as well, your placements will queue in pretty quickly, but once you get higher and higher into the ranks, you're looking at 3-minute queue times to 5 minutes. And I can't imagine how it is at the tippity top. It's probably going to be pretty long, but at that point, you kind of understand why it could be that way with as little players as there are. And that's the thing is, yeah, this game doesn't have a lot of players, but it has a lot of passionate players. People are still playing after this long, and I think that shows that they're probably not going to stop out of nowhere, you know. As long as we get new stuff consistently, and we have the sprint, which is already in place, where every week we get a new skin to grind for. And there's also the early access battle pass that lasts for 40 days. So it's going to take a long time for everyone to finish that. I hope that that will be enough to keep us invested. But if not, hopefully 1047 has more plans in store for us in these future updates, which are confirmed, we just don't know when. And like I said, if you want to know a little bit more details about what specifically they hinted at, I'll have to make a whole video on that Twitch stream because it's a lot. But for now, I think that sufficiently will catch you up and give you enough information to decide whether Impulse is a game worth sticking with. I'm Mystery. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, feedback is necessary and much appreciated. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Impulse, and bye-bye.